from Tackles and Geeks.
Welcome to TacosandGeeks.com. Underrated game you should play. This week's underrated game you should play is Eternal Sonata. This RPG is one of the most underrated RPGs I've played in a very long time. It was released in 2007. In 2008, depending on what region you're from. Just a little bit about Eternal Sonata. Eternal Sonata, for the most part, takes place within the dream world of Chopin, with brief segments in the real world, where Chopin is on his deathbed. The story is divided into 8 chapters, with each chapter being represented by one of Chopin's compositions, and being related to events with his historical life. The story begins with a small group of characters wishing to meet with Count Waltz of Forte regarding the mineral powder, but eventually evolves into a far-reaching tale of political espionage and rebellion being commonly explored theme. Escapism is also a large theme in the game, one dealt with explicitly in the ending. The reason why I had to choose this is because it is such, as the synopsis just stated, it is such a creative game. The fact that they're actually taking an actual composer and mending the story and using a little bit of elements from his actual historical life and just bringing it into this RPG fantasy world, it's just mind-blowing what they've done with the concept of the game. The concept of the game alone should drive you in. Each character's name is named by a certain beat, a certain note, or a certain instrument. You have viola, you have I believe forte. You have so much musical references, and especially if you're a musical person and if you love classical music, this is definitely the game for you. I mean, what the game does story-wise is an emotional story. It's a great story. You have great character development, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's like a 30-hour game, but I mean, it's a really good, solid RPG game. And not even that, the story, the graphics look beautiful. I mean, this is by, I believe, Tri-Ace, or one of the Tri-Ace companies. And for those who are familiar with Tales, it has that Tales type of feel to it, especially when the gameplay, which I'm going to show you momentarily. And just the characterization, the voice acting, the music is really good, especially since it's based off a classical composer. The music is top notch up in here, and I really did enjoy Eternal Sonata. I mean, when it first came out, I didn't get a chance to get it because I was busy playing. I forgot what I was playing at the time. I was focusing on another RPG, I'll put it that way. It wasn't until my friend told me, it's like, this is a game you have to check out. This is a game that you have to play. Not many people are really talking about it. It doesn't get the praise that it should, and it's very underrated, especially with the mechanics and the gameplay and the voice acting, English and Japanese, all the way around. Pretty good, you guys. Eternal Sonata is definitely one of the best. And let me talk a little bit about the gameplay. Gameplay is pretty solid. It's not a very, very tough RPG. I would say the learning curve is not that hard. I would say it's pretty average when it comes to difficulty. But this is something you definitely have to check out, especially to see what they've done with the entire production of the game. And just immerse yourself in a game, and you're gonna really appreciate what the game delivers to you. And let's show you a little bit of the gameplay here. As you guys can see here, this is one of the dungeons that we have to go to. This is one of the main characters that you pick up along the way. One of the main characters, her name is Polka.
Don't take all day.
If you're a musical person, you know what Polka is. And just the graphics in the dungeon alone, what they can play. The gameplay feels a lot like Tales. It plays a lot like Tales, but it isn't Tales. Run around with your character. The one thing I like about this one is the way the combo is when it comes to like your bosses. You're just fighting your opponents. Great combo.
Fire away!
Turn-based,
your end is near.
But it's a turn-based with free roaming around the battlefield, which I like. The same thing as Star Ocean, the later Star Ocean games, which is you get to guard, you get to tank, you have time to get multiple attacks, and everybody gets to turn out to do like that. This is one of the boss battles. I'm gonna cover boss battles because this boss battle, he puts you in a paralysis. If you're paralysis, and if you don't have the antidote, you're gonna lose very, very quickly. So let me show you more with Agredo here can do here. You have falsetto as well, viola, and those are all musical instruments as well. And you can see the gameplay is pretty solid. It plays just like a video game or those beat 'em up around RPGs, which is turn-based, but is still very in-depth. Upgrading systems and power levels and everything else is pretty solid. So you guys definitely check out Eternal Sonata. It's one of the great underrated RPG games of its time. Came out in 2007, 2008, and definitely worthy of your praise. All the accolades it has received. So you guys definitely check out Eternal Sonata. This is just from the Toxic Geeks for another edition of underrated games you should play. Later days.
Bone crumble!